I had to go back to school for this one. I dug out my HarperCollins Bible commentary from college to figure out just what Paul was trying to say with the creation was subjected to frustration by the will of the one who subjected it, I had a much easier time deciphering the whole creation is groaning, because it reminded me of another quote that everybody has the blues. Everybody longs for meaning. Everybody needs to love and to be loved. Everybody longs for faith. That's Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. describing music as a stepping stone to all of those things. Those are his words introducing the 1964 Berlin Jazz Festival. Now, Berlin, 20 years prior to that, had been the capital of Nazi Germany, and at that time it was divided by the Cold War. So a place that needed to hear these words about a groaning creation and how music can bring hope to that. For the last 2 months, I have certainly been groaning. My life was, and it is, music. When I am not doing United Methodist work, I have my guitar or my camera or just my ears with my friends experiencing art. And 2 months of social distancing had brought that to a halt. I was waiting with not so patient hope. Not just when can I go to the bar, but when is the next experience of my life? And then on May 25th, George Floyd died. He joined Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, Sam DuBose, countless other Black Americans whose lives mattered and were violently cut short. Some of the first work I did here in the Ohio River Valley District was confronting this horrible reality by working on the Come to the Table talks. These dialogue sessions forced us to confront our perceptions of race, our trust or mistrust of the police, our trust or mistrust of each other. We had these talks at the beginning of 2015. We grew together. We needed to have these conversations. And 5 years later, we still need to talk about these things because things still need to change. 2 weeks ago, when I heard I had to talk about waiting with patient hope, I was going to talk about the end of the pandemic. Vaccines are going to happen. Treatments are going to happen. Getting used to this. Until then, maybe singing with them, that's going to happen. The world's going to improve. Just give it time. We have to ride it out. But now I tell you, the world must improve. It is deeply broken, and we don't have very much time. Our baptismal vows challenge us to transform the world and resist evil and injustice in all their forms. And this would be a tall order if we're doing it alone, but we are not doing it alone.
Amen.
Now, I'm very particular about certain parts of my faith, how I reconcile the presence of evil and pain in the world with faith in God. I can't tell you or anybody how to work it out, but for me, I can't say things happen for a reason. I instead focus on God weeping when any one of us suffers. And we believe that God in Jesus was human like us and experienced this groaning of creation, this frustration of creation, this futility, even death. In that, God is with us. So when Paul writes the creation was subjected to frustration, I think about God joining us in this. Humans may be dealt this hand, but so was Jesus, and Jesus showing up in it made things change. Is this one way to think about patient hope? When we turn to Jesus, we remember Jesus experienced oppression and injustice as a Hebrew in the Roman Empire. We remember Jesus was murdered by state-sanctioned violence. And we remember that all of this does not get the last word, and Easter Sunday is our proof of that. Yes. These things do not get the last word. We remember that in our baptism, we join in Jesus' death and his resurrection, and in our community of faith, we participate in this reality together, and we work to prevent that from happening to anybody else in the world. Patient hope sees this whole picture. It comforts us when we're disturbed and disturbs us when we're comfortable. It embraces us so that we can embrace. It balances action and rest. It knows that things are broken, but they cannot, will not stay like that forever. Amen. Our groaning is the birth pang of a new era. The most recent time I experienced baptism and renewal was last Sunday, unexpectedly, not after having the privilege of running the live stream at Clifton United Methodist Church, but going to Inwood Park for the peaceful protest and looking for a spot mostly out of the sun. And I heard a familiar battle cry from the PA system of rap music, which is the calling card of POC, Patterns of Chaos, a band that I've been asking myself since March 15th. When do I get to see them again? When is the next show? When am I going to call up the guys and go and see a show at Motor? And it happened there. I got chills because I was looking out at this crowd of thousands of people coming together to demand a better world, and that's where I got my next show. It was like watching film of Woodstock and looking back on that and feeling like I wish I could be a part of that. And the first music performance I experienced after the pandemic was my friends coming together and demanding a better world. Is that a change in priorities, or is it just seeing what it's really about? At Woodstock, that place that I wish I was, Jimi Hendrix played the Star Spangled Banner on his electric guitar, and that wild, transgressive performance was a black veteran grappling with his understanding of America and fighting for peace. In 1964 in Berlin, Miles Davis and Herbie Hancock played together and grappled with the same thing. This is what Dr. King's remarks about everybody has the blues, everybody longs for meaning. Music helps us be a stepping stone to those things. And in 2020, I saw my friends return to the stage to share rest and resolve, comfort and disturbance, patient hope. When we express ourselves to others through these things, or even clicking buttons on the live stream, which I am about to leave this podium to go do and be way more comfortable doing. This is a way to gain patient hope and to share it with others. This is what this faith community is for. To remember, things are broken, but so help us God, they are not going to stay like this forever. May it be so for all of us.
Amen.
Suzanne, I invite you to help us answer this question of what are we doing with patient hope? How are we waiting in patient hope?